There's 3 water hair trapped in it from them, and it's surprisingly blonde. It doesn't look that way now. They're actually quite blonde creatures, but they're still not being cooperative. Every time I find a gap, they move out of it. Oh, it looked like a young male to me that was closest to us, and then a little one, and then an older adult female. She's at least not too camera shy. And don't forget that because this is a live safari and we just never know what's around the next corner, the impalas are bursting at the seams, so to speak, so we could well be seeing our first live impala birth. I'm determined at least this afternoon to locate one of their young ones. And speaking of pregnant creatures, she actually looks quite round to me. Not hugely so. There's definitely a little bit of a bulge to her belly. Now, warthogs don't have a strict breeding season, but you will find that there's a peak of birth around this time of year, once there's enough rain to get the mother plenty of food in the form of fresh green plant material. Let us leave our warthogs to their afternoon feeding, and go see if we can find one of these famed or fabled baby impala. You can hear the wind howling. It is taking the edge off what is otherwise a bitingly hot day. Makes a very big change from the last few days of overcast, cloudy and windy. It's now bright, sunny and windy. Let's find our way back onto the road. I don't want to drive off on this patch of grass too much. Here's our warthog. Oh. Okay, whilst I circuit these warthogs to find the baby impala, I believe that Brent has some fresh leopard tracks to show you, so let's head across to him and see if you can find that spotted cat.
Welcome to the sunset safari, the walking safari. As you can see, we've got some leopard tracks here. For those of you watching the sunrise safari, we had Shadow in this area, and she's obviously moved during the day. So Jeandre and I are going to try follow them. My name is Brent Leo Smith, and we're tracking big cats on foot. So we're going to get going. We're going to be a bit quieter here. So we're going to go through the bush. We updated on our tracking. And we're going to go.
Still continuing my search for this little weenie baby impala. Obviously, I don't want to go off-roading and stress out a newborn on spindly legs. I just want to try and get a nice view of the herd. I can see some very pregnant females tucked away in there, but so far no sign of the little one. Although they're more than capable of running pretty much as soon as they're born, the little impala, they don't, or some big ladies, very round, very bulging bellies there. No sign of a baby though, unless I'm being very blind. Keep your eyes peeled. You're essentially just looking for little flashes of black and maybe the odd ear twitch or tail twitch in between a forest of legs. What has been really interesting to witness is we've almost had a return to the harem structure of the breeding season. Usually with these herds, it has been very mixed. Oh, sorry, I was not paying attention, but that's actually what that wind is blowing in. Almost looks, unless I'm very much imagining things, like a storm front. But yes, it looks like a harem, or we've seen a return to the harem system with one male pretty much in charge of the rest of the herd. And I think this is coming from the hormones that are flowing through the females at the moment. And I think it's causing a bit of confusion with the males. We've seen them fighting with each other, rutting, and also chasing a lot of the very pregnant females around. And I do think that's just hormone based. Well, the impala are moving into thick bush, and I think I'm going to leave them alone. I would feel terribly guilty for taking these pregnant ladies to have to run. Also mentioned that once one lamb is born, the rest of them tend to follow very quickly. It's usually, I would say, about 80% of them are born within 3 days of each other, with the stragglers on either end, meaning that this whole process is going to last for quite a while over the next few days, so we'll have plenty to keep an eye out for. Oh, sorry, Walties, hello. You come back. You're a big girl. All right. Since you're kindly standing there so photogenically on the green grass, I'm not going to drive forward and... Oh, cute! Little baby lapwings! Sorry. I've just spotted them next to their parents. Oh, those are the... That's just gonna pop. There you go. enormous head that looks utterly ridiculous. Oh, there's two of them actually with their parents. That explains why. But completely upright babies. And just like the babies of the impala, these are born pre-coital, which means pretty much from the moment they hatch, they are fully functional. They're not born without feathers in the same way the nesting birds are in trees, like doves maybe, or shrikes, or even those lilac-breasted rollers that Scott's been showing us. These are born fully able to run and keep up with their parents, and covered with, although a fluffy covering, they're still covered with feathers. They look so ridiculously disproportionate. That head looks enormous compared to the body. It's so cute. Barely have spotted them running around on that field. I've very, very vivid experiences with crowned lapwings. It's the drone buzzing above us, by the way, just in case you've picked up on that audio. I've got very vivid experiences of crowned lapwings as a child as you walked over the school field, because they love to nest in open areas like this. I've been Arathusa off to the west of us. I just want to check. Amazing. It feels as though the temperature's already dropped 5 degrees the minute the sun disappeared behind this bank of clouds. And I guess our cold fronts, we're not quite over, because something's blowing in from the west. Look as though shadows come across in this direction. I hope you're all paying very close attention to what is happening on your screen. Otherwise you might miss the odd cameo appearance. Just want to go back and check that herd of impala. To be the summer of, well, the month of babies. The impalas apparently were absolutely adorable. I'll have to take your word for that. In fact, I don't want to know how cute the baby impalas are until I've seen one. But those lapwings were absolutely adorable. The reason I'm doing this game drive now in reverse is I saw more impala, and I've now reached the point of being absolutely determined. Brian, we are not going home until we see baby impala. No, man. Now I'm just seeing things. Okay, we go forwards again. Yes, Pamela, something that I have seen in terms of babies is baby elephants. We had 2 of them yesterday, giving a perfect demonstration as to exactly how uncoordinated baby elephants are with their trunks. We also spent the rest, Liam and I spent a good, I don't know, probably about a good 20 minutes trying to leave that elephant sighting, and we couldn't leave because there were just elephants everywhere, all around us, all in the road. So we have seen baby elephants. I don't understand how I've seen more baby elephants than I have baby impala, but it seems to be the way it goes. And of course, apparently, I can't remember if it was today or yesterday, but a year ago exactly, that VM recorded the first, was it the first live birth, Brian, of a wildebeest calf? Yep. So the wildebeest are going to start to pop out. Now, I believe that
from the termite mound. So this is it, tracking left and nothing better. I'm going to call Jamie. One. Jamie, come in.
Standing by.
Jamie, we've located Shadow. If you come back towards the junction of Impala Plains and Sandy Patch, or Impala Road Sandy Patch, she's standing by there. We're going to move out. We don't want to disturb, and we're going to wait for Jamie so we can tell Jamie how to get in there. So she's moving off slowly. A bush we did this morning, which is incredible. All the little things. So this afternoon we decided, we knew there were leopards. We decided my favorite things to do in Aubrey's area. He's also getting hold of me on the radio. So wait here.
Is that, but Brent managed to find Shadow pretty much as soon as he started tracking her this afternoon, and we are making our way back towards we've been pretty much hanging around this open area. There's our warthogs again. There is Brent, ready to lead us into the sighting. Let's see what Brent has to tell us.
Back with you, and we'll go in, and when we get a bit closer, I'll pop out and walk out and come fetch Andre.
Alright.
Okay, so let's go see a leopard.
It's going to be fun to try and get in there.
Not too bad. So let's go see a leopard.
It's going to be fun to try and get in there.
Not too bad.
Okay.
Maybe we can just go in straight where John Bear was standing. Jamie nearly reversed over Jean there.
Okay, which way from here?
Okay, so we're going to keep going straight ahead, just basically try and get through that gap that's ahead. But no, we can't go straight there from here.
Okay. Alrighty, well we've got Brent on the back with us to give us a hand. Oh, I've got her.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
I'm going to jump off.
Okay, bye-bye.
We shouldn't move too that far from when we saw it. Good
Cool.
luck.
Thank you.
We're going to go try Karula next, see if we can make it 2 leopards on foot in a day. Bye.
Right. I had her. Oh, there she is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop for one moment just to show you how camouflaged she is. Have you got her there, Brian? Can you see? Yeah. Just to show you how far or how incredibly camouflaged leopards can be. Keep your eyes peeled. I want to know, have you seen her? Have you spotted her yet? Oh, I know, Barbara, you were wondering if the leopard charged Brent on foot. Nope, she didn't. You'll find that leopards for the most part are quite relaxed on foot unless you surprise them at very close distance. In this case, as far as I know, she just shifted and moved away ever so slightly. No stress there. Shadow's been... Bear in mind as well that Shadow has spent her entire life encountering people who've been trying to track her on foot. So she is not without experience in that respect. Oh, getting in here is going to be so tricky. It's okay, I think we can sneak in here. There's a bit of a gap. Oh, don't worry, Brian. See us moving through this thick bush. She's on the move as well. She's going to head towards that termite mound. You can see how dense it is in places. She's moved towards this termite mound that the drone is directly over. She's stopped there. I'm going to try and see if I can get her in. Nope, I can't get in there without getting a little bit too close to her and upsetting her. But she's going to move around the other side of the termite mound, so keep your eyes peeled. She might be about to pop out. Seeing a leopard from the air is not particularly easy. zooms out, you can sort of see why it was that you absolutely couldn't see her from the air. She's tucked away against the side of this drainage line, this termite mound, covered in guarri bushes. And those all form a crown across her head, meaning she's completely, as her name implies, completely hidden in shadow. But you can just get something of an idea as to how incredibly dense this vegetation is. Panting heavily. I noticed this morning she's got quite a round belly. She definitely had a big meal, maybe sometime early this morning or late last night. Probably something like a steenbok or a deka, just because she has left it and she's moved across onto Djuama. She probably had a smallish kill, but something that's made her quite full. And she's now panting to try and aid digestion and cool herself down. We've been so incredibly lucky to have the sightings we have had over the last week or so, with Karula on quarantine and now her daughter paying. Very glad that she's decided to make an appearance and come and join us on Djuama once again. I believe it has been quite a while since we last saw her, and in that time she was a busy girl with Tingana. She was mating with him. And I don't know if that's where she's got her current limp from. She is limping. Her back right leg is injured. Nothing too serious, so it could have been something that happened during her experience with mating. I'm not too sure. It's hard to tell. It's supposition. Could also, of course, have been an injury acquired during hunting. I was asked today by one of the school kids about how many spots a leopard has, and it's something I've never ever stopped to try and work out, and I'm certainly not going to try and sit and count them now. Oh, big girl, big yawn. I'm tired, girl. But I don't know if any of you have ever found yourselves with an idle moment and a screenshot of a leopard or two. If you find yourself curiously counting spots, well, I would love to know if you've ever done that, and if you have, what were the end results. I estimated about 300, but that was a very, very quick estimate, and looking at her now, I think I might have been off the mark by a long way. I suppose it's also tricky to decide what exactly you count as one spot and two. Towards the sort of northern side of Vuyatela. You should see my off-road tracks there. Just keep coming, I'll let you know if I've got your audio. She's panting away. I don't know, do we have any answers to the spot questions? Have any of you ever sat down and counted? I'd love to be able to send an email to the school kids and just say this is our conclusion. she's up. Sorry, Julia, I said back left. I think it's her front. I mean, I said her back right. I think it's her front right. Just watching her walk now. Apparently, James picked up on it and said it was injured. Just trying to see as she moves from us if I can catch a glimpse of any kind of injury. I can't. It looks to me like it's her front. I'm going to try and loop my way around. She's going to stop there. I think we should be okay. We should get her here. Sorry, girl. I know you're busy having to relieve yourself of nature's burdens, but we'll just give you the space to do that for now. I know that you have... Oh, that's quite smelly, Shadow. Thank you for that. Your parting gift to us. I do need some time to just loop around and get across to her, and I believe that Scott has a dung beetle to show you for now. So whilst I go and find you a nice view and help Aubrey into the sighting, let's head across to Scott.
Exciting stuff with Jamie and Shadow, but also exciting stuff here. We've got some lucky dung beetles that have found this fresh pile of elephant dung. Here's another one, and they have the ability to fly, these beetles. They lift up that hard shell on their back, and soft wings open up that transport them from A to B, so they do have the ability to fly around looking for various types of dung. Elephant dung, especially when it's fresh like this, is high up on the menu of dung beetles, and you can see the one on the top there is attempting to roll it into a tight ball. Now, it's not looking very neat at the moment, but you'll be incredibly surprised at the skill of these beetles. Oh, there's two fighting over a small little, and that one's taking it, doing a runner. Off it goes. Seems like it's coming straight back though. It will probably need to get some more dung than that, but you do get lots of different types of dung beetles, so maybe this is a slightly smaller one. It does look a bit smaller, and a slightly different species that may not require as much, but now the other two are wrestling. It seems like one of them is a bit of a bully and is trying to take the easy route, getting another dung beetle to do all the hard work, but it appears that now... Oh no, it's found the other one. What's going to happen here? The other one's standing its ground, even though it's smaller. And who would have thought you'd have so much action unfolding all around a big fresh pile of elephant dung? And interestingly enough, there are a few more balls of elephant dung just behind us, which we can take you past quickly, just to give you an idea of the full scene here. So that one would have been the freshest, and the elephants were walking, judging by their tracks, from down that road towards where we are, and you can see there's a whole trail of dung, each of which has some dung beetles. Oh, there looks like one going down the road there, Viam, with quite a big ball. You're going straight for it. That's perfect. There we go. They're incredibly powerful animals, these. And as much fun as this is, Jamie is back in position to receive you with Shadow. Enjoy.
Now we are still with Shadow. I've been desperately trying to see if I can see where this injury is on her leg, or what part of it is hurting her. It does seem to be her right front to me. is sandy. I'm just going to stop for a moment so I don't stress her out. Let her decide where she wants to go. Try and find my binoculars at the same time so that I can have a look at that injury on her leg. Still can't see anything. I'm not sure if you guys can or if you can pinpoint where it is exactly. If it is an open wound, if not, might be a sore ankle or a sore joint. I'm hoping she's going to head towards that big large pod albizia that she's just at the base of at the moment. Tree without thorns and therefore a perfect leopard tree on our beautiful evening. Reminding her mother of exactly where she draws the line. Adrenaline rush, you were wondering about shadow. She has a 3-4 spot pattern. Oh my word. This could definitely end badly for us. It's either going to end just keeps getting thicker and thicker. And Paul Rizzo, apparently you have looked it up on Google, and leopards have approximately 1,000 spots. Well, I think that's pretty much, here she is. You got her there, Brian. Tucked away in the weeping wattle. Well, thank you, Paul Rizzo, for Googling how many leopard spots are there. It is a lesson learned for me. Looking at her now, I don't know why the number 300 ever popped into my head, because it's quite clearly more than that. It's very convenient of her to lie down in the weeping wattle. I think she's found a perfect position. I don't think she's going to stay flat here, though. I think she's going to keep moving. She's just resting up every now and again. I could be wrong though. I think she's on a mission. Yep. Oh, nope, just shifting around. That looks like such a comfortable, perfect hiding. We've been treated to some serious spectacles of leopards mating. And Sharon, you've been watching in Pittsburgh, you were wondering how it is that so many mating sessions, or how can leopards mate as often as they do and not result in conception, when for humans it just takes one. Well, there's a couple of factors there for different take or one deliberate attempt before conception occurs. Mating session, or how can leopards mate as often as they do and not result in conception, when for humans it just takes one. Well, there's a couple of factors there for different. So it's or one deliberate attempt before conception occurs. Goes into estrus. It's in the can actually take several consequences on the service being than take carrying. If the food gets into particularly the same will go, so they need though they have made sure that you put your electric consistency because the personally see that cost is little because they do for a couple of reasons. One of which is by mating on a week-long session. We've seen that happen twice the last 2 months, and the same goes for Karula also over the last 2 months. What it is that they have to double check into success rates of leopards mating and how often it results in conception. I guess just the same as people, it has to be that it sometimes takes a little bit longer in leopards. So I don't know, I think both Karula and Shadow are getting on in years, which means that they won't be as fertile. Doesn't mean they're going to be infertile, it might mean that they won't be as fertile as they were when they were younger. Never fear, I'm sure there are going to be babies on the way in the next few months. And lucky for us, we don't have time limits on our safaris, so we'll be able to follow them and find out when they do actually give birth. Now, for the moment, Shadow is not going anywhere, but Brent has found a mystery animal that I have yet to be convinced exists. Let's head across to him and his aardvark hole.
So, welcome back. We are at the old hyena den off Rebecca's Road. This is the last place Karula's been seen today. So we're going to get onto her track shortly, but I could not resist showing you guys this before we did that. You can see we've had all that rain, so you can see this dark colored mud has been flung out of here, and it's something that can dig really well. Re-excavated the mud in that after this has been flooded during the rain, and guess what? They're at home. So if I take my stick and I put it into the entrance of this hole, well, now they're not playing along, they've gone in deeper. There we go. You see those flies? You got them there, Jandre? So there's an aardvark in this burrow, and the reason I can tell that is because of these specific flies. So those who are on the Sunrise bushwalk with me, I spoke about fly species that they're not sure whether they feed off the sweat or the blood of an aardvark. And if an aardvark is at home, they are always inside at the entrance. And the reason for that is so the aardvark can't leave without the flies being attached to them. So they literally are followed by a swarm of these flies at all times. It must be quite uncomfortable, especially if they are blood drinkers. And I'm really interested to find out whether they drink blood or sweat. So there's this ongoing study about that. Oh, hello. There's a little rattling testicular calling right next to us, but I can't really see him. He's in this spike thorn, and he's very loud. Kiss, kiss, run away. So if we look down below us here, the vehicles big marula tree in the distance, and she went into this drainage system. So what we're hoping is we're going to find some fresh tracks, and we're going to go into the drainage line, and while we go look for Karula, we're going to send you back to her daughter, Shadow.
Whilst they go off in search of Karula, we sit with her very exhausted daughter, Shadow, who, as I said, has been moving along and marking her boundaries in exactly the same way her mother has been, which is distinctly possible. And then, who do we think Tingana would choose? Because he'd have to choose one of them. Of course, Shadow always has the option of the Anderson male, who is off to the west, but he hasn't been seen all that often. and Karula has a Vula off to the east of her territory, so that's also a distinctive possibility. But generally it seems to be Tingana who's spent the most time with both mother and daughter. It would be interesting to see how that situation plays out. But for now, there's a lot of reinforcement. The time that Karula's been eating her impala on quarantine, the last few times that I've been with her whilst she's been moving, she's been marking territory. And Shadow's been exactly the same. That being said, I think I was wrong when I said I didn't think that she was going to stay here long. I retract that. I think she's going to spend the rest of the afternoon sleeping quite peacefully, cradled in a weeping wattle tree. I'm very glad that she's decided to make an appearance and come and join us on Djuama once again. I believe it has been quite a while since sure.
Filmed by Drone Commander Andrew Francis. Where they are on the reserve, I'm not entirely sure at the moment. But what a wonderful sight of the matriarch it looks like in front there. Two youngsters, and then the slightly older teenager bringing up the rear. They're on Philemon's cut line, I can see. So just to the south of the reserve, and it's quite a small herd. I'm slightly surprised by the size of it, to be honest. This time of year we haven't seen much in the way of water other than in the major waterholes, and so for the herds to be dispersed already is unusual. Perhaps a big elephant bull in must. There have been a few
Sorry guys, I'm just listening to the Game Drive channel for a moment. Okay, no major updates, it's just that Andrew wants to try and find his way in here, and best of luck to him, because I'm not entirely sure exactly where we are in relation. Might actually be quite close to Sandy Patch Road, but I could be wrong on that account. This is a block that I've spent very little time in, so I'm glad that Shadow decided to come off in this direction. Led me to parts of the reserve that are yet unexplored on my side. Of course, definitely areas that she's more than familiar with. And as Shadow rests in the shade from a very hot day, let us head back and see what Scott is seeing at the waterhole around Arathusa.
So this is a Wahlberg's eagle soaring through the sky, and seeing as though you have just been up in a drone looking at some elephants, we thought we would give you an alternative view from the ground looking up. And you'll notice it's hardly had to flap its wings, not even once. It's just riding the warm thermals and wind that's getting blown in from what looks to be quite a big storm behind us. What I can do is I can turn the vehicle around for you now, just to show you a quick look at the storm that I'm talking. I think we should make it to the end of the safari without getting wet, but there's some beautiful clouds approaching from the west. It's not the main area where bad weather does come from, but occasionally some storms do roll in from the Drakensberg Mountains out in that direction. Vim and myself have been enjoying driving around Arathusa, but haven't seen too much. So we're going to keep on moving and see what else we can find. And that's how it goes sometimes on safari. Luckily, and that's what I love about Safari Live, you guys have the benefits of chopping and changing to wherever the action is. Some birds have just flown across here. I don't think we've ever showed them to you on Safari Live. They don't belong here, and they came from India, and they're a myna bird, M-Y-N-A-H, and there's a pair of them living here at Arathusa. They usually live in urban areas, so not too sure why these two have gone against all their regular traits and come out to live in the bush. But two birds that you typically don't see here, and they are an invasive species, but because they have been here for so long, I think they are kind of considered. And just to let you know, at least it's possibly another bird for your bird list, but important to remember that it does not really belong in Africa. The Indian myna. I think they've changed the name to something else now, but hard to keep track of all the name changes. If any of you may know what the new name is for the Indian myna, it would be wonderful for you to share that with us, so we can clear that up. In the city where I live, called Durban, and these are two far more African birds, the helmeted guinea fowl. And these two have paired off. It's time to start thinking about raising a family this season. Usually they'll be living in flocks of varying sizes, but possibly 10 to 20 birds in total. But now we will only ever see them in pairs, and they will in all likelihood, oh, there goes a squirrel. They'll in all likelihood have a nest somewhere. Sealed though, and hopefully sooner rather than later they'll have some hatchlings and we'll get to see them because they're incredibly cute, the youngsters of most animals I guess, but the chicken-like birds, the guinea fowls and the francolins are really cryptically marked and camouflaged. They lack the ability to fly, and because as they hatch they need to start moving with their parents literally from day one. They don't spend any time in a nest. They need to be very well camouflaged. In case of danger they can just lie on the ground and keep dead still. That's the kind of go-to move. Great. Which is on there was 2 eggs last time we were there to check that out, and I've got a feeling that they may well have hatched. We've been viewing that nest for close to a week now, and often incubation periods aren't too much longer than 10 to 14 days for the smaller birds. So it would be wonderful to try and monitor that nest as soon as those little chicks hatch. And the great thing is it's kind of eye level with us, so it's not very high up in a tree, and we'll be able to look down onto the nest, which is a unique scenario that I think is certainly worth us making the most of. To Paul, who's just sent through some information on the Indian miners, saying that they're incredibly intelligent birds. And you're right, Paul, they are. I can vouch for that. Very sneaky, and any plans you may make to kind of prevent them from nesting in your roof, because they make such a mess, they often find a way in or find a way around your defense mechanisms. I guess that's why they've been able to prosper so well in this country that is foreign to them. The eggs of those Indian miners are bright blue. They're actually incredibly pretty eggs. Unlike the eggs of the laughing dove, which we will hopefully be looking at later, which are pearly white. Just will be found this afternoon. And I've just found an egg case for one insect that I knew one of you asked Brent whether we find them here or not. And this is a remarkable insect called a lunar moth. And this is the that they'll pop out of. And I know for a fact that it is the lunar moth because it nests or it feeds on typically tambuti trees, or almost strictly tambuti trees. And this is a tambuti tree, so a perfect place for a lunar moth to lay its egg case. And here's the tambuti grove that is nestled in. It's kind of got a metallic silvery sheen to it, that egg case, with lots of pitted holes, and that coupled with the fact that it is on a tambuti tree makes me know for a fact that the insect responsible for it was a beautiful big green moth called a lunar moth. And for those of you who don't know what they look like, I can try and get a picture for you quickly as I drive along. probably be more wise those if I try and find this picture for you, and I'll show it to you a bit later. But it's an incredibly large moth, probably about that big, and it's called a lunar moth, part of the emperor moth family. And we've just found another bird's nest. Yeah, it's in this tree just to our right here. I've seen the adult fly in, and I heard the chicks cheeping wildly for it as it landed in here. It's a long-tailed shrike, and we haven't found one of their nests yet this season. Yay! Huh. Now, problem is, well, that's the adult, beautiful bird with that long black tail. Now, will we be able to see its nest from where you are? I can see a large clump of twigs, but I'm not sure if from VM's angle he can see them. There you can kind of see the fringe of them. I'm going to try and reverse. A big clump of twigs in there. That's probably as good as it's going to get. That's the nest. Unfortunately, we are going to battle to get a good view of what's going on inside there. But it's another nest, and at least we know where they are. The chicks could be very small, or still possibly even only be eggs in there. Anyway, Brent is desperate for you guys to join him on the bushwalk. Enjoy it.
So, not quite the leopard we're looking for, but a leopard nonetheless. We have a leopard orchid growing in this retired, what looks to be a black monkey thorn. It hasn't started flowering yet, and the reason it gets its name, a leopard orchid, it's got beautiful golden flowers with dark and they're really interesting because they're an epiphyte, and what that means is they take their nutrients from the air. So they are not a parasite, so they don't harm any of the trees that they live in, and that enables them to live on dead trees, like dead leadwoods, or like this dead monkey thorn. They are incredibly beautiful and green throughout the year, so we still get this sort of splurge of green in the middle of winter from these leopard orchids. This is a medium-sized one. They can get really, really big. But I'm hoping one day we will find we'll be able to show you that one.
Sounds like you've been having an amazing time with bushwalk and with Scott. Shadow still, I don't actually think she's moved at all since she's definitely found a nice, comfortable, shady patch to spend the rest of her day curled up in the shade. I know that Scott mentioned there was a bank of clouds that's moving in. It's slowly making its way towards us, but it's not happening all that quickly. We've still got the sun beating down upon us. Now it is very, very dense in this sighting, and there are now quite a few cars that are across to join us, so we may have to move around a little bit. We might not have visual of her for too long. I just want to have a quick chat to Andrew while we have a look at Shadow. Alright, I'm just waiting for Andrew to finish off on the Game Drive channel. I'm going to tell her where she is. How's it, guys? Hi. Hi, how are you? Good. She's on the other side under the weeping wattle. Yeah, I think Aubrey managed to find. Got an okay visual here. Cool. All right. Oh yeah. It is a very tricky sighting to navigate around in. And I think especially if your vehicle is twice the size of ours or twice the length, and I think especially if your vehicle is tricky if you are twice our length, and that's what Andrew is having to contend with at the moment. And he does have Ilka on the back. I met her this morning. She is one of our Safari Live fans. We did have a very quick, very brief conversation during a sighting with Karula early this morning, and it is so wonderful to have viewers who've been watching it to then be able to come and share the experience and meet their characters up close. In this case, they're going to have a very sleepy shadow experience. She's obviously now finished mating with Tingana. It'd be interesting to know, I haven't heard any reports of it, but it would be interesting to know whether she did mate with the Anderson male as well. I know that she did the first time she was seen mating with Tingana. She left him and she went mating with the Anderson male. I wonder whether that process has repeated itself. Of course, female leopards do that as a way of ensuring the safety of their cubs, essentially convincing every male in their immediate area that they are the father, and therefore ensuring that they don't act in any way to kill the cubs. Kevin, you were wondering, we spoke about Shadow's unique spot patterns, and of course every leopard has its own unique spot pattern that is different with each and every individual, just like zebra. You were wondering if spot patterns I suppose could be inherited. Either way, we know that each and every leopard has an individual spot pattern that is completely unique and different from its mother and its father. Now, Shadow is still fast asleep underneath her weeping wattle, and Brent has some more amazing bugs to show you. So let's head across to him.
So it looks like we're destined to spend time around weeping wattles or pulsiforums today, and you can just see the air is abuzz with insects feeding on the flowers, and all those buzzing are the burnets and foresters. So we've got both species of daylight moths buzzing about, and we had a really, really wonderful look at the burnet this morning, and now I'm going to show you the forester, which is the gold. Oh, it took off. There are quite a lot, so we'll find another one, I'm sure. And while I look for another one, we've got some of those beautiful. We've got some of those beautiful fruit chafers again. Oh, taking off everywhere. There's some mating fruit chafer, the carapaces. It's absolutely stunning. It's just this incredible explosion of color coming from these weeping wattles at the moment that have got all the flowers out, the yellow of the flower, the green of the tree, and this incredible vast coloration of different insects. I mean, look at this fruit chafer here. If I remember correctly, I think that's called a harlequin fruit chafer, the black and white one. And we will definitely try to get you one of those foresters, those daylight moths, not the burnets. We will show you the burnet again, of course. Let's have a look. And lots of mating beetles around. They've got a whole bunch of food, and so it's time to make some babies. Oh, we've even got mating foresters, Jandre. So forester is the daylight moth I haven't been able to show you just yet. And there are two, there's a pair coupled inside the bush here. I don't want to disturb them. Can you get there? There they are. And you can see that gold, sort of yellow spots with that royal blue coloring in the wings. So that's oh, the wind's blowing. Maybe if I... Oh, don't fly away. I'll try get... Oh, don't fly away. Insects is a real challenge. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Nature has the most exquisite pigments. Really big wasps. Oh, and it even looks like there might be an acria butterfly coming in. Let's go have a look. So that's the one thing you could probably... So obviously when approaching all the beetles, oh, as you say that, one flew into my ear. Right here, there's a really cool butterfly, but it's quite a difficult one to get. I'm going to wait for him to land. I'm watching it carefully. It's called a skipper. Oh, but then in the meantime, there's one of those big wasps. And Richard's asking, are we getting bitten by any of these bugs? Not yet, Richard. They're far more interested in the... Oh, he took off. That's the one that might not bite us, but definitely sting us. Jandre is going for another bonnet while we try to find some new species. So most of these are far more concerned with feeding on the nectar of this beautiful weeping wattle. There's the butterfly, Jandre. Oh, he's so quick. That's why he's called the skipper. He skips from spot to spot. Not so not slow flying like these bonnets and foresters, but hopefully he will jump down. I don't know if you're going to be able to grab here. Sorry. I'm putting Jandre under the cosh here, but there, that is not the skipper. That's a different butterfly, and that is an acria. And we spoke about them a bit on the sunrise safari. They lay their eggs on a Waltharia plant, or Waltharia indica. They are absolutely wonderful. I really do enjoy the acria family of butterflies. My favorite acria, which I haven't seen yet this year, has got the most wonderful name. It's not the prettiest of the acria butterflies, but the name is what makes it for me. It's called a wandering donkey. And I just think a butterfly that can be called a wandering donkey deserves to be someone's favorite. So we're going to keep checking around here, and it's amazing. As I said, we could spend hours here and not see all the insects. I'm really hoping we manage to grab one of these skipper butterflies. They are very fast moving. They don't even sit on the flowers for very long. Okay, he's sitting, and incredibly fast flying butterfly, which means he's tasty. So he's got to fly fast to avoid the birds. And you can see a very big developed thorax and body, and a very big head for a butterfly. So they're quite a robust butterfly, and they need that robustness to get that speed when they fly. They are very pretty, and you can see its underside there. The beautiful stripes. Unfortunately, it is quite windy. Jandre, you're doing a fantastic job. Oh, and he's actually coming a little bit closer to us. I mean, you can see that robust body and that robust head and midriff I was talking about that helps create that speed. And look at the size of its compound eye. Really big eye compared to the other butterflies. So I'm not sure which. Oh, there is Kipper. A skipper butterfly, and it's a first sighting for one of our long time viewers, Raisa. So while Jandre shows you the swarming bonnets and foresters, I'm going to venture deeper into this Peltiforum to see. And it's a butterfly that's quite often, it's really beautiful on the outside as well as the inside of the wings. Oh, off it goes. So we're going to try and get some of the more difficult ones now. I think they're all difficult. Jandre is in the bush. But we're going to try see if we can get some of the wasp species that are also feeding off the nectar. And these ones can sting us, but they're probably not going to. We're not interfering with them. We're just standing on the edge and looking in. So we're going to do a trip around, and we might... I'm going to take my hand away. Hopefully it'll move into a slightly better position shortly. And you can see that really big end of the abdomen that holds the sting. And I would be lying if I tried to tell you which wasp this was or which family it belonged to. I'm not sure. There he goes. Off he flies. And now I did see some robber flies, which were quite small. We do get some bigger species of robber fly here as well, which also... Jandre is making a really funny face going, oh my goodness, he's now going to try and make me find flies. This morning it was tiny spiders. Now we're going to try find flies. But let's keep on our trip around the Peltiforum. And interestingly enough, quite a few different species of moth will also lay their eggs on the Peltiforum once the flowering is done. And you can actually find these trees completely stripped of all their leaves by the caterpillars. Leaves by the caterpillars. And of course I'm keeping a very sharp eye out for another crab spider. I'm just going to keep moving. Thought I saw a weevil. Whoa, nearly taken out by a fruit chafer there. I'm just going to keep slowly moving. So guys, I've actually lost count of how many different species of chojos or nunus, bugs that we've seen so far on this specific tree. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys could figure out the species. I can remember a forester, an acrea, a bonnet, a wasp, but I hope you guys, and a bunch of fruit chafers. Okay, it seems like they're high action zones. We have seen definitely one different. Genre. That tiny little black thing there. On the leaf. There. Now that is there. That tiny little black thing. That is more likely a fruit trafer's leavings. It's a piece of a beetle dung. So Jean-Andre is trying to get it. It is absolutely minute. You got it. And with the wind, it's also quite difficult. So there we go. A fruit chafer's leavings. I'm just going to take one last quick perusal, see if there's anything we've missed. And I can't see anything offhand. As I said, we could probably spend 3 hours just looking for stuff here. But isn't this incredible? And I do love my bugs, and there's going to be quite a few more coming through.
Okay. Ryan spotted a hole. How big is the hole? Oh, it's not too bad. Alright, we just might have to do a bit of a... Let's do a little bit of a circuit around said hole. There's a couple of sort of sudden dips in the ground that I would prefer not to expose us to, if at all possible. Ground that I would prefer not